stick with the injuries and look forward and just project a little bit. Is it getting to the point where you feel like these injuries could actually affect the game week 1 against the Cardinals? And would you change your prediction for how many wins the Niners are going to have this year from what you predicted after the schedule came out or after the draft? I mean, are you reassessing what this season is going to look like because of these injuries, which seem not so bad right now? Maverick, you start.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say I would change my record prediction because I think the Niners just having the majority of their staff and personnel back in place had a leg up on a lot of teams going into this season. But losing a couple guys, I think they've lost more role players for an extended amount of time. It could affect them week 1 just because instead of Daniel Brunskill playing right guard, he might have to be playing center for the first time in his career, and that could draw some problems. But I wouldn't say it would affect what they do in 2020 overall. Maybe a week 1 loss instead of a win, but not anything else.
Okay, Jack, what do you think?
For me, I think as long as we don't see injuries to folks like Nick Bosa, if he's able to go week 1, Kittle's available to go week 1. These other injuries that we're seeing right now are all things that are manageable that they can manage around. We've seen Shanahan be able to juggle his lineups. Look here, there was a lot of injuries to key players, and they were still able to be competitive or win the games. So as long as it's not really, we're looking at Nick Bosa and Kittle, like I said, and Jimmy Garoppolo, of course. If those 3 guys are around, I think we're going to be okay and be able to manage around it.
Yeah, unless like you told me multiple players are out for the season, then it's like, all right, now I'm going to see a couple of wins getting shaved off here. So Maverick hit the nail on the head. At this point, if those players are out week 1, and all right, maybe they lose week 1 because I think the Cardinals are going to be more of a puncher's chance team this year than just like lay down. I mean, they already pretty much made it close for 2 games against the Niners last year. So unless it's like a couple of key players out for the year right now, then no, I don't think I can. I can't really predict the future. But like, the way this trend's looking, even though the last 3, even 4 years, you could say the 49ers have been one of the top percentile teams. That's always like, man, what's going on with them? It's like I'm gonna start looking for every time I go to the facility now. I'm gonna go looking for if they have a ladder at the entrance because they have to be walking under something like that or just straight punting a black cat 40 yards.
It was the same story last year, right?
Yes, it was the same story last year and the year before that when I first started covering the 49ers to a certain degree. And it's just like, man, this is really like bizarre. I know injuries happen. It's part of the game. It's going to happen, but you can't ignore that it's getting skewed towards this way. And the fact that Kyle fired his training staff, what was it, last year or whatever point he did? Yeah, so the fact there definitely was something he's bothered by it. So it definitely is something that's going on here. But I don't think until something more severe happens, like on the Jalen Hurts scale, I don't think I'd be willing to really adjust to my winning predictions.
Yeah, I'm going to be on the same page there. Maybe if it's just 1 game or 2 games, it just comes down to how everybody else feels. Last year they filled out fantastically and they went 13-3, and so that's why I'm not going to change it. But as long as, like Jack said, doesn't happen with George Kittle, Jimmy Garoppolo, Trent Williams, Fred Warner, kind of those centerpiece players that you need on the team for every single game, then they'll be fine. They can survive passes. They did it last year, and they did it with guys like Justin School, who was a rookie, Brunskill, who came out of the XFL. So they'll be good.
Yeah, I think that's important to remember the big picture of how many injuries they had last year and how they overcame all of them. But I think it's important to also remember, well, the way I look at it is this game, week 1, is becoming a game. Before I just penciled it up as a win for the Niners, and now I'm starting to think that, I don't know. I mean, it depends. Will Juszczyk play? If not, will Dwelly play? And if not, do they have a fullback? And if not, what's their running game like?
Top receiver gone.
So I think they have a lot of questions for week 1. I still expect they'll win it, but if they don't and they go 11-5 instead of 12-4, that could be significant in the NFC West because I think the Seahawks are going to be at least 11-5. So I think it is significant for the outcome of the season because of how it could affect maybe just the first game. And I think the first game could end up having a big impact going forward, but that's a lot of hypotheticals.